Welcome to Explained Simply. Let's explore interesting things in the world together. Today let's find out every red flag you keep ignoring explained. 1. The sneaky nature of red flags. Introduce the concept of relationship red flags, distinguishing them from quirks, and highlighting why it's important to identify these warning signs. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship, feeling a gnawing unease, yet unable to pinpoint exactly why? You rationalize away certain behaviors, calling them quirks, passion, or just being complicated. But what if those aren't just harmless eccentricities? What if they're actually glaring red flags, waving desperately in your face, trying to warn you? It's astonishing how often we explain away these warning signs, painting them green with the brushstrokes of hope and affection, simply because we like the person holding them. The truth is, our instincts are powerful, but they often compete fiercely with our desires, hopes, and the idealized version of a person we've built in our minds. Red flags aren't just minor flaws to fix in someone else. They are crucial pieces of information about whether this individual is genuinely ready for a healthy, respectful, and reciprocal relationship. They signal deeper issues, inconsistencies, or even manipulative tendencies that can slowly, insidiously, erode your self-worth and well-being. Recognizing these patterns early isn't about finding perfection. It's about protecting your peace and ensuring you're investing your time and emotions wisely. 2. The victim narrator. Blame game expert. Describe the individual who constantly portrays themselves as the wronged party, deflecting all personal responsibility onto others. First up on our list of tricky red flags is the victim narrator. This is the person whose entire life story is an epic saga of misfortune, where they are always the hero, and everyone else is, quite literally, Satan. Their ex was crazy, their boss hates them, their friends are jealous, their family just doesn't get them. Sound familiar? In their narrative, nothing is ever their fault. Ever. Every story concludes with them being unfairly wronged by unreasonable humans, leaving you to wonder if you'll eventually become the next villain in their ongoing Netflix drama. Their accountability system seems to operate on a simple principle: blame everyone except the person in the mirror. And somehow, in their twisted logic, this seems perfectly reasonable. They consistently sidestep any responsibility, reframing every negative outcome as an external attack or an unfortunate circumstance. This isn't just about avoiding blame, it's a fundamental lack of self-awareness and an inability to grow. If someone can never see their own role in their problems, they're unlikely to ever change or contribute constructively to a partnership. This pattern indicates a profound resistance to introspection and a tendency to project their issues onto others, which will eventually, inevitably, include you. 3. The phone phantom. Digital presence, real absence. Detail the person who mysteriously disappears from direct communication, yet remains visibly active on social media. Next, we encounter the phone phantom. This individual has a remarkable ability to vanish into thin air for days on end, only to resurface as if absolutely nothing happened. When you finally hear from them, their excuse is usually a vague, "Sorry, busy." But here's the kicker. A quick scroll through Instagram or TikTok paints a very different picture. You see posts of them at 3 different parties, mastering a hot yoga pose, or meticulously photographing artisanal toast. Suddenly, busy seems to translate to busy with everything except basic human communication with you. They treat texting back like an Olympic sport they're simply not qualified for. Or perhaps, one they deliberately choose not to compete in. You find yourself making endless excuses for their silence. Maybe their phone died, maybe they're just not a big texter. All while they're actively engaging with the digital world, just not with you. Their priority system effectively says, respond to everyone except the person who actually matters, and they somehow brand this as being mysterious. This isn't mysterious, it's disrespectful and a clear sign of inconsistent investment in the relationship, leaving you constantly questioning your importance to them. 4. The Boundary Bulldozer. Your no means convince me. Explain how this individual consistently ignores or challenges your established personal boundaries and limits. Beware of the Boundary Bulldozer. This person treats your personal limits not as respectful requests, but as mere suggestions or, even worse, challenges to be overcome. You say, no, and they hear, convince me. You express being tired, and they're coming over anyway, perhaps even framing it as a thoughtful gesture. You state you need space, and suddenly, they're at your door, armed with snacks and a hefty dose of emotional manipulation, ready to breach your defenses. In their world, every boundary you attempt to establish transforms into a test of their persistence. They genuinely believe that relentless pursuit and wearing down your resistance is romantic, when in reality, it's just incredibly annoying and disrespectful. They operate under the misguided notion that persistence is a virtue, rather than recognizing it as a violation when it comes to personal autonomy. Their respect settings are clearly configured to treat user preferences as optional features. As if you're a character in a video game and they've got all the cheat codes. This behavior doesn't just chip away at your comfort, it systematically undermines your sense of control and safety within the relationship. Making it clear they prioritize their desires over your well-being. 5. The Past Excavator. CSI of your X-Files. Illustrate the partner who obsessively interrogates your dating history, treating it as a threat rather than ancient history. Next up, we have the Past Excavator. This individual is practically conducting a CSI investigation into your previous relationships. They're obsessed with your dating history. How many people? What did they look like? Why did it end? Are you still friends with any exes? It's not just casual curiosity, it's an intense, almost forensic interrogation. They treat your past like a current threat assessment rather than the ancient history it actually is, asking questions with the precision of someone compiling your romantic Wikipedia page. This behavior isn't about understanding you, it's deeply rooted in their own insecurities. Their insecurity algorithm seems to be programmed to collect all data on romantic competition, living or dead, rather than simply trusting that you chose them and are committed to your present relationship. They use the ghosts of your past as weapons, constantly comparing themselves or looking for potential flaws or reasons for future abandonment. This constant scrutiny and the need to compete with phantoms can be incredibly draining, making you feel perpetually judged and never quite good enough. A healthy relationship builds on trust in the present, not suspicion of the past. 6. The Hot and Cold Machine. Emotional Whiplash Inducer. Describe the unpredictable behavior of alternating between intense affection and sudden distance, causing confusion and instability. Meet the Hot and Cold Machine, a person who will put your emotional stability to the ultimate test. One day, it's a good morning text overflowing with heart emojis and declarations of affection. The next, you're lucky to get a one-word response, if anything at all. Wednesday might bring enthusiastic plans for a romantic weekend getaway, only for Thursday to reveal a sudden need for space. By Friday, they're back to obsession mode, leaving your head spinning. You'll find yourself needing motion sickness medication just to keep up, as your feelings are constantly adjusting to their wildly fluctuating mood swings. Much like a relationship thermostat gone rogue, this isn't a quirky personality trait, it's emotional whiplash, and it's incredibly disorienting. Their consistency settings seem to be stuck on randomize affection levels for maximum confusion. And they somehow perceive this erratic behavior as a form of quality control for the relationship. This constant push and pull creates deep insecurity and anxiety, preventing any real sense of stability or trust from forming. You're always left guessing, always on edge, and always wondering where you stand, which is no way to live, let alone love. 7. The Social Media Detective. Online observer, offline absentee. Detail the person who engages with your online presence but avoids genuine, consistent real-world effort or communication. Next, watch out for the social media detective. This individual is a master of digital breadcrumbs, leaving a trail of online activity that hints at interest without any real-world follow-through. They'll like your photo, then unlike it, just to keep you guessing. They'll diligently watch all your stories, sometimes multiple times, but completely ignore your direct texts or calls. They might even go as far as following your friends, yet act like perfect strangers if you encounter them in public. Their online attention is inversely proportional to their real-world effort. They shower you with digital crumbs while withholding actual presence or meaningful interaction. You find yourself analyzing their Instagram activity like you're breaking the Da Vinci Code, trying to decipher their true intentions from a string of likes and views. Their engagement protocol seems to be set to maintain interest through mysterious online behavior, rather than just being a normal human who communicates openly and consistently. This pattern leaves you feeling observed but not truly seen, valued in the digital sphere, but neglected where it actually counts, in real life. It's a frustrating game of cat and mouse where the cat never truly commits to the chase. 8. The Excuse Manufacturer. Master of Justifications. Explain the individual who always has a seemingly plausible explanation for their unreliability, lateness, or broken commitments. Here's a classic red flag: the excuse manufacturer. This person is a professional at crafting justifications. They're always late because of unavoidable traffic every single time. They cancel plans because they're suddenly sick, far more often than anyone else you know. They can't commit to anything because work is just crazy right now. Or they didn't text back because their phone died again. They possess a seemingly endless repertoire of explanations for everything, except for the one crucial thing: why they consistently disappoint you. Every instance of unreliable behavior comes with a perfectly reasonable, well-rehearsed explanation. It's never their fault. It's always the circumstances, an external force, or an unfortunate cosmic alignment. Their accountability system seems to be designed to generate plausible justifications for all failures, rather than simply showing up consistently and taking responsibility. While everyone has legitimate reasons for hiccups occasionally, the excuse manufacturer makes it a consistent pattern. This chronic inability to take ownership or be consistently present erodes trust and makes it impossible to build a stable, dependable relationship. You'll constantly feel secondary to their parade of unavoidable obstacles, leaving you feeling frustrated and unimportant. 9. The future faker. Grand plans, zero action. Illustrate the behavior of someone who talks extensively about a shared future but consistently fails to take any concrete steps to realize those plans. Beware of the future faker. This person is a master of painting elaborate, enticing pictures of a shared future, but their canvases remain perpetually blank when it to actual execution. They'll talk excitedly about romantic vacations you'll never take because they never actually get around to planning them. They'll casually mention meeting their family, discussing moving in together, or even future children, but the moment you try to pin down a date or discuss timing, they definitely change the subject or become evasive. It's all talk and absolutely no action. They're selling dreams with no delivery service, making you invest your hopes and emotions into promises that exist solely within the realm of conversation. You find yourself building an entire future in your head based on their grand pronouncements, only to realize that these hypothetical scenarios have zero follow-through capabilities installed. Their commitment protocol seems to prioritize maintaining interest through hypothetical scenarios, without any genuine intention or capability to materialize them. This constant discrepancy between their words and their deeds can lead to immense frustration and disillusionment, as you realize you're being strung along by a mirage of future possibilities that will never become reality. 10. The criticism disguiser. Insults in disguise. Describe the subtle way this person delivers backhanded compliments or veiled criticisms that slowly erode your self-esteem. Next, watch out for the criticism disguiser. This individual is a master of the backhanded compliment, delivering insults that wear compliment costumes for Halloween. They might say, "You'd be really pretty if you dressed a little better." Or, "You're so smart, just not, about this specific thing." Another classic is, "I love how you didn't try too hard," implying you didn't try enough, or that your natural state isn't quite up to par. Their method is insidious. They slowly demolish your self-esteem while pretending to offer helpful advice or caring observations. Every suggestion they offer is, in reality, a subtle complaint about your very existence, or a demand for you to change to suit their preferences. Their feedback system seems to operate on the principle of modify partner through strategic criticism disguised as caring. And somehow, in their twisted perception, this appears loving. This constant drip feed of disguised negativity leaves you feeling subtly inadequate, always questioning yourself, and never quite good enough. You find yourself striving for their approval, without realizing they're the ones creating the moving goalposts, slowly chipping away at your confidence until you're a shadow of your former self. 11. The comparison collector. Living in the ex's shadow. Detail the partner who frequently compares you unfavorably to their past relationships, making you feel constantly measured. Here's another subtle but damaging red flag. The comparison collector. This person constantly brings up their ex. Not in a reflective, healthy way, but as a measuring stick against which you are perpetually judged. You'll hear about how their ex cooked better, how their ex was more fun, or how their ex simply understood them in a way you apparently don't. You find yourself in an unfair, unwinnable competition with someone who isn't even present, and, according to them, was seemingly perfect at everything. They weaponize past relationships against your current one, using memories of ex-partners as a means to highlight your perceived shortcomings. This isn't about being loved for who you are. It's about constantly being measured, evaluated, and found wanting. against an idealized, often unrealistic, version of someone else. Their evaluation system essentially says, rate current partner against previous models like you're a car they're considering buying. This continuous comparison creates immense insecurity, making you feel like a placeholder, never fully appreciated or accepted for your unique qualities. It's a constant reminder that you're not the first, and perhaps not even their preferred choice, which is a truly soul-crushing experience in any relationship. 12. The energy vampire. Draining your emotional battery. Explain how this individual consistently shifts focus to their own drama, leaving you feeling emotionally exhausted and unsupported. Beware of the energy vampire. This individual has a profound ability to turn every single conversation into their personal therapy session. Their drama quickly becomes your responsibility, and their mood dictates the entire vibe of your interactions. You often find that you leave spending time with them feeling utterly drained and exhausted, rather than happy or uplifted. This is classic emotional parasite behavior. You become their unpaid therapist, their personal cheerleader, and their constant emotional support human, all while receiving very little in return. They take and take, absorbing your emotional energy, your time, and your attention, but rarely, if ever, reciprocate with genuine support or care for your well-being. Their relationship dynamics seem to be rooted in a protocol that says, extract maximum emotional labor, provide minimal support. And they somehow labeled this one-sided exchange as love. This dynamic is profoundly unsustainable and unhealthy. Eventually, your emotional battery will be completely depleted, leaving you feeling resentful, overwhelmed, and completely unseen in the relationship, as all focus remains perpetually on them and their needs. 13. The Isolation Initiator. Shrinking your world. Describe the manipulative tactic of subtly pushing you away from your friends and family, aiming to increase your dependency on them. Next, watch out for the Isolation Initiator. This red flag is one of the most insidious and terrifying. This person subtly, yet systematically, starts to remove your existing support system under the guise of deepening your connection with them. They'll drop comments like, your friends don't really get you like I do, or, your family is too involved in your life. They might suggest you spend too much time on hobbies without them, making you feel guilty for independent pursuits. Slowly but surely, your world begins to shrink. Your outings with friends become less frequent, your calls with family diminish, and your individual hobbies take a backseat. All the while, their world remains exactly the same. This isn't about finding love, it's about losing yourself. This manipulative control mechanism is designed to reduce external influences to maximize dependency. They want to be your sole source of validation, entertainment, and emotional support, making you entirely reliant on them. This isn't romantic, it's terrifyingly controlling and a clear precursor to emotional abuse. It strips you of your autonomy, your identity, and your vital connections, leaving you vulnerable and isolated. 14. The Truth Dodger. The foundation of lies and final takeaway. Detail the person who avoids direct honesty, constantly changing stories, and conclude by reinforcing that red flags are crucial information for relationship health. Finally, we have the Truth Dodger. In their world, simple questions somehow morph into convoluted, complicated answers. Their stories have a peculiar habit of changing subtly, or sometimes drastically, every time they recount them. And when serious conversations are needed, they often become inconvenient joke sessions, deflecting any attempt at genuine honesty. Getting a straightforward, honest answer from them feels akin to performing surgery with a spoon, incredibly difficult, inefficient, and ultimately unsatisfying. Truth, for them, is classified information rather than the foundational pillar of intimacy it should be. You're left constantly wondering what's real and what's merely a carefully crafted performance. Their transparency settings seem to be set to share minimal authentic information, because they believe mystery built on lies is intriguing. In reality, it's just plain exhausting. So many of these red flags are disguised as endearing quirks, intense passion, or simply being complicated. Your instincts aren't broken. They're just competing with your hopes, your desires, and the potential you see in someone. Remember, red flags aren't flaws for you to fix in another person. They are critical pieces of information about whether this individual is truly ready and don't forget to support this kind of content by subscribing and watching this other super curious video you'll love.